Hey there. Thanks for joining. This is Doc Kane in the very first installment of Marketers Who Can't Market. This is a podcast for you if you're a small business owner, a marketer, a sales guy or gal, and you are good at your job, and yet you find that these days you're not so good at your job because things are tough. And being always on a quest to figure out what works and what doesn't, I'm trying to find the answer. So thus the podcast. Today's episode, the very first episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about a project I've been working on. So my main site currently outside of Mapleopo, which is my wife and I's Japanese literature translation site. My main site is called Nihon Hustle. I live here in Japan, and you can check it out if you'd like. It's about life and living and working in Japan, and it's a kind of in-progress affiliate marketing site too, as I test out ideas there and things of that nature. And so the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've been working on a lot of content, changing up the game a little bit. Last year, I did some focus on military families here in Japan, and I have a tremendously long, something like 16,000 word military post about helping military spouses and active duty service people find meaningful work outside of the work that they already do, or if they're a spouse and they're shoved here to Japan or elsewhere outside of the U.S., some sort of advice as to different career options that they could pursue that didn't involve delivering food and babysitting, all this crap that you hear, read about online. Do this, make $5 on Fiverr. I think that's it's great if you can do a few things on Fiverr, and they now have a business platform that I think pays a little bit better, which I'll be probably reviewing at some point in time. But for the most part, there's so many more different things that you can do if you're if you have time on your hands, or if you're looking for work, meaningful work. And so I created this very long post. It's like I said, 13. I think it's 13,000 words now. I trimmed it down a little bit, and a lot of people visit the post, but nobody does anything with the links on it. There are a few affiliate links in there, but it's mainly an informational post. There's a shit ton of information there. It's very valuable, I think. But nobody buys anything, right? And so I started to think I need to change up my game a little bit to see if I can produce some revenue on this website, because it's largely informational. So I created a few product reviews for products that I use that have made a tremendous difference in the way my business has worked and been able to scale over just the past few months. But towards the tail end of 2020, now it's May 13th, 2021. So I did a review on the managed WordPress hosting company that I use called WPmu, which is just out of this world fantastic, very affordable. And they've literally enabled me to get, I think I have 56 domain names with them up and running and not costing me a small fortune to do it. And the beauty of this service is they have 24/7 live WordPress support. So I've chatted with these guys probably at this point in time about 150 times. A few weeks ago, I actually emailed or asked in the chat, and I was already up to 112. So I must be up to 150 and 200 before long. But anyway, the support is fantastic. And so I've been bragging to my wife about it forever, but I figured other people deserve to know about these guys as well. So I created a really long post, a review of WPMU, and within hours, actually, I was getting a lot of clicks on this referral link that I have in there. Now, WPMU doesn't have an affiliate program necessarily. They have a what they call they have a referral program, which is common with lots of places. And I can get not hosting credit. I can get credit towards their hub membership, which is actually the bulk of what I pay. I pay something like $79 a month for their agency package, which enables me to load up on as many websites as I want under their support banner. And I get all their plugins for free, and I get back-end backups and maintenance and all this stuff that's just wonderful. And so I've been bragging to my wife about it, but I want to tell other people about it. And so, like I said, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So they don't have an affiliate program; they have a referral program. So if people click on this link, I'm not going to become a millionaire over this situation, but I will get credit towards my cost. So I thought this is a nice little thing, actually, if I didn't have to pay monthly for this service in time. It kind of pays for itself writing this article, right? So I wrote a really long article. Within hours, I started to get clicks. About 2 weeks into it now, I'm upwards of, I think, 842 clicks before I started this microphone here today. But zero closes, right? Zero conversions. And every day as I've watched this thing like go up like 100 clicks a day, I kind of started to get pretty excited about the opportunity that this thing might end up being free for us pretty soon. And how awesome that would be, right? But nobody's buying anything. So it's been driving me crazy and thinking that, well, maybe it's just a matter of the click, hasn't processed yet, and in 30 days I'll get some sort of notice that says 50 people signed up or whatever. But at this point, I'm kind of doubting that that's going to happen. And so this week I'm reading, so I got a little insight from this book that I'm reading this week from Russell Brunson. You might know Russell Brunson. He's a founder of ClickFunnels. And this is I'm reading his third book now, which is about traffic. It's called Traffic Secrets. And it's quite good, actually. I mean, Russell is super hypey and very direct mail oriented in his videos and his ads, and it's successful for him. And I actually own his other two books, but I haven't really spent any time with them because I was a little I kind of fell into his funnel. He has this funnel. Download the what is it? You get the book for free basically, but pay shipping and handling. Now, I live in Japan, and I really don't want books anymore. I read everything on my Kindle. But I fell into the pitch because his pitches are good, and they're not so bombastic as to be not believable. And I know he's a pretty solid cat, so I bought the books, but I didn't read them. But these days, because I'm dealing with trying to increase traffic on Nihon Hustle, I wanted a little bit of insight into how I might be able to do a better job with that. So I started reading the book. And in the book, he talks about intent, which of course, as a marketing guy, I know all about intent. As a writer, I've been writing forever. I've been online writing since 1994. To me, it's a second nature to write toward the audience. This is the very first question you ask when you do any kind of writing, either personally or if I'm doing it for a client. So I get that, right? I know that. But what I was missing, I think, is the specific intent that a person might have based on their place in the funnel or place in the buying cycle. Now, again, this sort of thing is not new to me because this is what I have done for companies when I've been on marketing teams. We do all of this rigmarole about buyer journey and all this crap and avatars, which is just another fancy way of saying who's your customer. But when you work for a company, you do a lot of this pulling apart of the process. When you're working on your own, as I'm trying to do here, you're trying to do so many things that you just forget shit, I think. And so you kind of need to step back and analyze these things or let the light bulbs go back on because they're obviously off. And that's what this book is doing for me. So Russell lays out in this book a lot of his process for driving customers to his funnels using Facebook and other marketing platforms or social media platforms like YouTube, etc. And he analyzes this process for each of the platforms. But within each of his chapters, he's a little bit specific about the nuances of the specific platform, which is very helpful. And I started to kind of pick up the more I read, the more I started to realize that I think the problem I might be having with these review articles, even though they're getting a ton of hits, and you might see this coming as I'm about to say, is that they're being read by people who are thinking about switching, right, to a new host, or they've read about managed WordPress, but they really don't know a lot about it. And so my article, which is on page 1 already of Google, if you type in WPmu review, I'm on page 1, number 2, I think, in ranking. because I kind of know what I'm doing with regard to SEO, and I can write an article, right? But anyway, I think the people searching for this article aren't ready to buy yet, and that was, I think, a light bulb moment for me. So I'm getting a shit ton of people visiting, they're not buying. Okay, so maybe what I need to do is create a different kind of bucket of articles that kind of surround this larger article. If I want to call it a skyscraper article or a pillar article, and then build other articles around it that will capture these sorts of people who are a little bit closer, who are searching in a different way for things. So someone ready for managed WordPress hosting, and God, I wish I would remember what the hell I was looking for when I finally made the leap. But what are they searching for, right? And create articles about their specific need. So maybe I'm comparing WPmu to Kinsta or to Bluehost, which everybody in under God's sun seems to use foolishly. So create new buckets, right? Maybe that could be part of the answer. The other thing I realized or thought could be an issue is maybe I'm sending people to a landing page that is not converting well. So surprisingly, on WPmu, they have kind of a very technical approach to selling their service, which is fine. It's a wonderful service, but I don't really see any remarkable call to action funnels or buttons on there. And so I'm sending people to a pricing page for the most part, which might not be a good idea. So it could be these combinations of things. Wrong story for the wrong part of this buyer's journey, if you will. Wrong landing page. I think the copy is solid for what the title is about, which is a review, right? So anyway, just a thought. That's what I'm thinking about. So this week, I'm not particularly eager, honestly, to write another kind of article about WPmu because I've moved on to Canva and I wrote an article about elegant themes, and it's a pain in the ass writing all this stuff. It's a lot of work, and my wife would rather I write some more fiction, and I would too, I think. But in between all the other things I've got going on here in Japan, I teach as well. It's not always the most exciting thing to want to write about a service or anything for that matter that isn't particularly enjoyable, I would say. But it is what it is, and that's what I'm testing right now. So if you're out there and you're writing review articles and you're seeing that you're getting a lot of clicks but not a lot of conversions, I'd encourage you to think about these sorts of things. Is the review article enough? Do you need to say more to appeal to different people? If you create a single pillar article or a kind of main article about a topic, adding surrounding topic articles is always going to be a good thing. And maybe you can employ some of these other tactics that people talk about, which is hiring different writers to write that sort of stuff. And I may do that at some point in time too, but I'm never a believer in outsourcing writing for cheap, which is what everybody promotes. And I can write better than most people, I think, at least for the things I want to write about, right? So I'm not yet on that bandwagon, but I probably will. Once these things start to make some money, we'll be looking for other writers to put some things together for me that I can edit. So I don't have to be writing 10 articles about WPmu, as much as I love those guys. So that's it. That is today's first installment of Marketers Who Can't Market. If you enjoyed the podcast, I don't know, give me a thumbs up here on YouTube, and maybe eventually I'll throw this thing on iTunes or something like that. But I just wanted to get it up there, which is actually this whole concept, by the way, is a combination of ideas I read about in Russell's book, a combination of ideas from Gary Vaynerchuk, who I knew a long-ass time ago in 2007, 2008, when Twitter was just starting. I met him once, and twice maybe. We had a lot of back and forth in the beginning, and he's from New Jersey. And But anyway, Gary Vaynerchuk has this basic concept, which is just document things instead of trying to create things. And Russell mentioned it in the book, and I thought, why not? Why not give this thing a try? I have more things to talk about because of this effort than I have before. And if it's useful and helpful to people, maybe I'll get more people to the page, and more people will appreciate the stuff that I'm giving to them, which I think is good stuff, right? So there you have it. Russell Brunson's book, I've found almost done with it. Maybe about 2 days into it now. It's a quick read. I would recommend it. It's a very good book. I would recommend WPmu if you're not yet doing any managed WordPress hosting. Very, very awesome. And there's a few links in this YouTube description thing of different services that I use. All of them I highly recommend. They're all things I use as opposed to just review. And those things are few and far between as well. So anyway, if you like the podcast, give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to try and do one of these every day because Russell says if you do it every day, then you'll have no trouble making money at the end of the year or some shit like that. So I'm going to see how this works. So I hope you enjoyed it. This is Doc Kane signing off for now. Marketers who can't market, call me, or no, don't call me. Send me an email. Hopefully there's a way to do that here, or find me on Nihon Hustle. Send me an email if you're interested in me chatting with you about something like this, or if you've got a case study I should feature. This is ideally going to be something for everybody. And at some point in time, since I'm an old radio guy, I'm interested in chatting with people. So hit me up. Let's do this thing right and enjoy. All right, peace out from Kobe, Japan.